For more than 70 years, Europe has relied on NATO, and by extension the United States, for its military security. But that era may be shifting. In Brussels, Berlin, and Paris, a new idea is gaining ground: strategic autonomy. A Europe that can defend itself, act independently, project power. Is the European Union building its own army? Could it one day break free from NATO? And what would that mean for Europe and the world? Today we take you inside one of the EU's most controversial ambitions, a defense force of its own. NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, was created in 1949. A Cold War shield. 12 countries, including the United States, Canada, and much of Western Europe, pledged that an attack on one would be an attack on all. The key player? The United States, providing the largest share of troops, nuclear deterrence, and funding. Over the years, NATO expanded, adding former Soviet bloc countries. But cracks started to show. After the Cold War, Europe reduced its defense budgets. And when crises erupted, from the Balkans to the Middle East, NATO often moved only when Washington did. In 2016, Donald Trump entered the White House and called NATO into question. He demanded that European countries pay more for their own defense, threatened to pull U.S. troops from Germany, even questioned whether the U.S. would defend a NATO ally under attack. It was a wake-up call. French President Emmanuel Macron said NATO was experiencing brain death. Germany's Chancellor Angela Merkel warned Europe could no longer rely on others for protection. Thus, a phrase became policy: strategic autonomy. One piece was PESCO, Permanent Structured Cooperation, launched in 2017. A pact among 26 EU countries to develop weapons, train troops, and coordinate defense investments. Another was the European Defense Fund, or EDF. It provides billions of euros in R&D money for weapon systems, cyber tools, and battlefield tech. Then came rapid deployment forces, new command centers, and plans for joint military units. Then, in 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine, and the debate over European defense exploded. While NATO responded strongly, the war revealed just how unprepared Europe was. Ammunition stockpiles ran low, supply chains broke down, and Europe's defense industry couldn't keep up. In the chaos, EU leaders launched Readiness 2030, a 100+ billion euro investment strategy for JTAG arms production and rapid deployment. Despite these efforts, there's one critical question. Can the EU truly defend itself without NATO? Not yet. The US still provides nuclear deterrence, long-range missiles, and global reach. No EU country, not even France or Germany, can match that alone. Many EU nations, especially in Eastern Europe, still see NATO and the US as the ultimate guarantee. But that doesn't mean EU defense is pointless. A full EU army? Unlikely, for now, but a networked, interoperable force of European militaries, funded and trained together, is taking shape. In the next 5 years, expect a single EU defense market, new European weapons systems, common training centers, and faster crisis response forces. It's not a replacement for NATO, but it could be a plan B if transatlantic ties weaken. Is the EU creating an alternative to NATO? Not directly. But every tank built, every joint drill held, and every euro spent on defense brings Europe one step closer to something it hasn't had in decades: military independence.